Bitcoin is decentralized finance. There's no one in the middle. It allows people to buy and sell on both sides without any middleman. A central bank digital currency is completely the opposite. This is a experiment that's already been done in China, where, for example, if you are a citizen living in China, if you do something as simple as run a red light or who knows what else, the government has the ability to completely shut off your account.
Inflation, border crisis, recession warnings, and over $35 trillion of national debt are issues impacting Americans today. Financial analysts are urging folks to get prepared, as Elon Musk even warns the U.S. dollar is heading for destruction and could bankrupt the U.S. Americans are taking the next step to help protect themselves and turning to physical gold and silver. That's why Preserve Gold is giving away a free, no-obligation wealth protection guide with 25 plus pages of detailed information, and learn how you can put physical gold and silver into an IRA or 401k, and even purchase precious metals for delivery directly to your home. Help protect your future with Preserve Gold. They have hundreds of 5-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with satisfied clients. In addition, you can get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase today.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, November 26th. This is crazy because it's like 2 days before Thanksgiving. I cannot believe we're like this far away from Thanksgiving and this far away from the end of the year. So what an incredible month we've had so far. We've had some incredible victories so far. What was prophecy? November shall bring victory upon victory upon victory. Well, we first off saw the victory with Trump in the election. And since then, we've seen everything crumbling right in front of them, including, I believe, just yesterday, or was it today, they actually announced that they're dropping the indictments against Trump. How awesome is all of this prophecy and pieces coming together beautifully? So, with that said, this all ties in with precious metals, because when God unleashes on this world, something biblical is coming down, and we're going to see God's money go biblical. Meaning it's going to move like we've never seen before. So whatever we've seen is only a prelude to what is coming. And so because of that, I'm bringing somebody new on my show today. His name is Daniel Boston. He is with Preserve Gold Group over here in Los Angeles, California. And he's another source, wonderful source for precious metals, and we're going to talk about everything precious metals, including some political events going on in the world. But I want to offer this as another source, again, if people want to get some precious metals. So Daniel, welcome to my show.
Bo, thanks so much for having me.
Wonderful. So with all the crazy going off in the world right now, and, we're stepping here into Thanksgiving. So I know everybody's going to be watching this during the holiday season of Thanksgiving. So it's very, very, wonderful family time that we're stepping into. What are you hearing in the precious metals community, and anything and how that might be tying in with some political events that you're seeing manifesting right now?
Yeah, I mean, the entire community is very excited right now in terms of, there were projections that were, put in place for 2024. And based on the events that have happened this month, really, I think those projections are now expected to get blown out of the water for a number of reasons. I think the main thing here is, you just look at the administration that's coming in. Thank God. I think if we had another 4 years of what we just went through, I don't think we'd have a country anymore. But thank God, what's coming in. I think what Trump represents and what he wants to do is it's going to be painful, in my opinion, short term, in terms of what we're going to need to go through economically to really get us back on the right track. And, I'm sure we can talk about that in more detail. But, in terms of what's probably going to happen as a result of some of the policies that are going to come in with this new administration, gold prices, silver prices are poised to skyrocket.
Right now, with this so far, we've seen gold moving vertically for most of this year so far. We've seen it make new all-time highs. What's your thought from the election. It's a very interesting time point because at the moment of the election, what we saw was we going into the election, precious metals are moving up, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are moving up. So we're seeing all these commodities moving upwards. And then at the election, we had a very interesting thing happen. Bitcoin went crazy, broke vertical. Gold and silver, they slammed downwards. Now, when I say slam, this was nothing big, but basically we've got a floor on silver at 30. So they took it down from like, maybe $3 from 33 or 34, brought it down to the floor here at 30 and brought down gold maybe $100, $150. So again, no big deals. But I'm saying, why do you think that right after the election, precious metals went down? And what's your take on that? Do you think that there is a reason for that, or is it pure manipulation, or what would have been, just again, no one really knows the right answer, but what's your take on why we have this? And I actually, if anything, I want to call this a blessing, because what it is, it's a buying opportunity, right? The number one thing about buying anything in life, okay, you buy low, sell
Hi.
high. There you go. That's the rule. That's the rule of finance. Okay. So because we got a pull down here into the $30 range for silver, people, that's called a blessing. So my question is, what's your take on why we actually have this amazing opportunity right now, this blessing with a pullback on gold and a pullback on silver? And is it available? How readily available is it for people to call and reach out to you and get precious metals right now? So give us your take on precious metals, specifically gold and silver.
Yeah, I think, with Trump's victory, there's a lot of exuberance in the market right now, and I think there's just a lot of people that are comparing this in their minds to 2016 when Trump won last time. The environment that Trump walked into in 2016 is very different than the environment that we're dealing with today for a number of reasons. Trump was responsible for probably the greatest economy in this country's history back then. Unfortunately, if we just kind of go back in time over the last 15, 20 years, in 2008, for example, instead of dealing with the consequences head on, government at the administration at that time, the Obama administration, decided to bail out the banks and basically kick the can further down the road instead of dealing with the consequences head on. Fast forward to the Biden administration, it was more of the same thing. It was there was banks that were going under, so we bailed out banks. We were dealing with a bunch of money printing, inflation, a lot of the same old. Well, here comes Trump, and he's basically putting an end to the madness. He realizes that when you try and solve a debt problem with more debt, that's a recipe for disaster. And the one thing that gives our country power over the rest of the world is our currency. And so that's one thing that you need to protect at all costs. And I think Trump understands that. So he is partnering with Elon Musk, a genius, brilliant business mind, Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk has come out and said that he wants to slash the federal budget by $2 trillion. If you actually analyze this a little bit, that represents 7% of the total GDP. In other words, goods and products that flows through our economy. If you slash an economy by 7%, that's painful. It doesn't matter which way you spin this. That's going to be a pretty painful experience for everyday citizens like yourself and myself, though. So, I compare this to owning a business. When you're slashing your federal budget, basically that's money that you rely on to maintain and operate your business. On the other side, they're also talking about cutting taxes. Taxes is your income, really. So you're slashing money on both sides. That's going to be very painful. I think we're going to see that pain manifest itself inside the financial markets. I think we're going to see prices go higher with tariffs. But this is all a necessity to get us back on track, because the status quo for the last 20 years and longer really has been, anytime we have a problem, let's just print money. So if I ran my business the same way this government's running our country right now, or what it has been, I'd be a criminal and I'd be in jail. Unfortunately, Bo, you and I are the ones that get to pay the consequences for their actions. And there's very little that Americans can do to really protect themselves against what's going on. I think Trump's policies coming in terms of fixing and trying to repair the damage that's been done, is going to be a necessity, but it's going to come with some pretty severe short-term pain.
I want to add this, and So let's see your take on it, because as much as like your comment earlier was Trump's going to do whatever he can to protect the U.S. dollar, I've got a concern about that, because the dollar itself is the instrument that was used to cause all the problem in the first place. In other words, like you just said in your second part of your statement, was they created out of thin air. And that's the problem. They created out of thin air. And because it's made by them out of thin air, we don't even know. They stopped printing and acknowledging the money supply. There is no clue how much money has been created. My friend Greg Hunter did a podcast with some financial analysts, and they've actually written to the Treasury and whoever, to the Fed, trying to find out there's a missing $21 trillion. No, this is not million, and this was 21 trillion 4 years ago. Okay,
Right.
so what is the real number now? So the problem with a money system specifically is they have the ability to create it out of thin air. That's what you stated, and I'm in full agreement. The other problem, if Trump supports the U.S. dollar, he's just supporting the perpetuation of this fraud that's been going on for 111 years. And then the other mix to the equation, because there's all these little moving parts, right? The last piece of the moving parts are called the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and then and now also we've got Saudi Arabia who've joined them, and that's a huge problem because Saudis made up the petro in our dollar. As of June 9th, 2024, like 5 months ago, Saudis didn't re-sign the 50-year contract. So there's no more petro in our dollar. It's nothing but a fraud made, printed into digits on paper, and that's it. There's no more backing. So the question is, if we are to be a powerful nation, we need a powerful currency. That's a very important point. If we are to be a powerful nation, we need a powerful currency, not one that's it's not even backed by petrol right now, backed by nothing but faith and confidence in this lunatic, in this what do we call it? There's a word for it. I drawn a blank here, but for this jungle political system we've got going on right now. And so my point is, the BRICS, they're in the mix of all this. If the BRICS, they are now offering a financial system which hasn't technically, I believe, gone live yet. If this BRICS system goes live, and they've been working on it for over 10 years, so there's no reason they've been working on this and doing all this for like no reason. There's a plan behind the BRICS initiative. They're going to implement the BRICS money system. And when that thing goes live, it's going to literally challenge the supremacy of the US dollar. And that's going to be a game changer. So as much as Trump's going to try to do X, Y, and Z, he's going to have to deal with, I'm telling you, in my heart, if the BRICS go live, and let's have you maybe expand upon this. If the BRICS go live, in theory, I believe that will dethrone the US dollar as the world reserve currency. Because now 70 or 80% of the world is saying we don't need your Federal Reserve note, and we're going to use our own system. So 70+% of the world population, meaning that's who compromises the BRICS, are saying we don't need your Federal Reserve note anymore, and we're going to use our own system. If that happens, that will be the dethroning of the world reserve currency. And if that goes down on the Trump watch as he's coming into office here, or in his term, he's going to have to deal with a U.S. currency that's no longer the king of the hill. And that's what the U.S. dollar has been. It's been the king of the hill for 111 years. So what's your take on how the BRICS are going to tie in with all of this, and then how that's going to affect our financial system? Because I see this coming. You can't stop it. They've been working on it for like 12 or whatever years already, the BRICS. So it's not that it's not going to happen. The question is when.
Yeah, you're right. So the BRICS nations, along with, I believe it's 80 or 85 other countries last time I checked and counting, which makes up 80% of the total globe's GDP, have committed to de-dollarization. It's actually frightening. And to your point, there's a train coming. I'm not sure how you stop it. Their goal is they want to take the US dollar, replace it with BRICS currency, use that, as I just said, to replace the dollar as the world reserve currency. If and when that happens, life as we know it changes overnight. We take so many things for granted, but the thought of to go to the gas station. You got to trade out of your dollars into BRICS currency. Who knows what that exchange rate would actually look like? And then you're going to use this new currency to buy milk and bread. What is the only thing that gives the dollar any true value is the faith that the world puts into it, and the fact that these countries for many years have been forced to trade out of their own currency into dollars to buy commodities like oil. So the dollar has been the bedrock for monetary finance or for global finance for decades now. And I think we're coming to a head where if BRICS has their way, and it looks like they are, then there's going to be some serious changes coming. I don't think there's any coincidence that this is all happening at the same time where we're now really starting to hear about things like central bank digital currency, CBDCs. So what separates a central bank digital currency from a digital currency, like for example, Bitcoin? Bitcoin is decentralized finance. There's no one in the middle. It allows people to buy and sell on both sides without any middleman. A central bank digital currency is completely the opposite. This is a experiment that's already been done in China, where, for example, if you are a citizen living in China, if you do something as simple as run a red light or who knows what else, the government has the ability to completely shut off your accounts. The government has the ability to completely shut off your accounts. They control their citizens' lives. They control what they buy, what they sell. And this has been something that's been adopted by President Biden. It was an executive order, 14067, that was signed into law, which allows them to explore the implementation and adoption of a central bank digital currency. So in my opinion, the way I'm trying to put two and two together here, and this looks like a way for the government to save face, because the dollar was once backed by gold. We went off the gold standard in the 70s, then we were backed by oil. Now we're backed by nothing. The dollar may as well be a piece of toilet paper. And if the world loses confidence in the dollar, which I think that could happen, then we're between a rock and a hard place, because now our government, is no longer a superpower. We may be a third world nation if something like this happens. And now the only thing you have to fall back on is central bank digital currency. So I can't tell you what's going to happen here. I can tell you Trump's inheriting an absolute mess on all fronts: geopolitical, monetary, markets, stock market and bond market's got some pretty serious issues, in my opinion. We got serious issues with our currency, geopolitical issues. We've got, you've got the central bank digital currency issue, which is an experiment that's already been played out in multiple companies, China being the most notable one. So moving forward, it'll be really interesting. I think it's makes it that much more imperative to get your hands on hard, real, tangible currency, money that you hold and that you control, money that can't be devalued by another government's actions or inaction. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward.
My favorite word in the Bible, my new favorite word in the Bible is the word suddenly. And then suddenly. You see, when the word suddenly happens, everything you think is going to happen, the opposite happens. That's like Christ walking in the temple, flipping the tables on the money changers. So what's going on? These are money changers.
Right.
These are money changers. That's all they are. They're money changers. The only time Christ showed righteous anger in the Bible, the only time he was pissed, righteous pissed, but he flipped the tables on the money changers. This is the same stuff going on. And then those who think there's so many YouTubes out there, Rumble podcasts, so many people talking about, the BRICS financial system is gold backed and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to take down the Federal Reserve and it's going to be rah, rah, joy, joy, because, we're going to see gold and silver explode in price. These people have no clue.
Right.
Why? Think about this. What did you just say? The central bank digital currency has been piloted and tested and running in China. Okay, wait a second. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India. The C is China, people. They've already shown you what their plans are with the currency and the control system. The rise of BRICS, when it does, it will happen because they've been planning this. It's just this BRICS system is going to try to attempt to bring them into what they call Klaus Schwab Actually, the word I was looking for earlier was called banana republic. That's what we're living in. It's a banana republic. But Klaus Schwab and everybody that's been functioning to bring in their plans, what are they bringing in? They're just moving you from the Federal Reserve System into another system. And you said it perfectly, Daniel. The BRIC system, or the central bank digital currency, is the exact opposite of free money because there is a middleman. There's a middleman because they can turn it, what did you say? Off. So if they can turn it off, that means they're in control. So no one tell me that the BRIC system is some fantastic system. Are you kidding me? And on top of that, China, millions, billions of people, and like 5% of them know Christ. You see, you have to understand what's happening is that when this new system comes to rise, it's going to be the continuation in a new format. The same plan. And what's the plan? Enslavement, control, and enslavement. What is the Federal Reserve System? When they print it out of thin air and they disperse it as mortgages, credit cards, student loans, car loans, what do they do on everybody? What's that called, Daniel? Isn't that called bondage?
That's called bondage.
And if they can turn off the central bank digital currency because you ran a red light or whatever they deem inappropriate, how is that any different?
Yeah, I want to add to your point, Bo. I think, the opposite of bondage is obviously freedom. So you got to look for the silver lining here, right? So you mentioned this before, but Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the implementation of this currency, the way they're going about doing this is they're using physical gold and silver to do that. They want to back this currency with gold and silver. And on the other side, with the Federal Reserve, they're playing around and toying around with this idea of a central bank digital currency. Meanwhile, you have central banks. They're not dumb. And by the way, this is not just the U.S. central bank. It's central banks around the world. They are buying gold at levels we haven't seen in 50 years. I don't think that's a coincidence. Gold is a safe haven asset. It's used to hedge against things like inflation, money printing, financial market volatility. These are all hot topics that are going on right now. Federal Reserve is basically printing money out of thin air that's backed by nothing, using toilet paper to buy real, hard, tangible currency like gold and silver. So I think that's powerful. Do you want to go buy what the big boys and the big players are telling you to buy, or do you want to go buy what they're buying themselves? So these foreign governments are backing a currency with gold. Central banks around the world, including here in the US, are buying gold to protect themselves against that risk. What does that tell you should be doing? And what does that tell you might be, what kind of insight does that give you with regards to what might be the path forward in terms of freedom and not bondage?
If the banks are buying up precious metals, all the central banks globally are buying up gold specifically. They're not piling on silver yet, because if one nation went in and piled in on silver, it would blow up and it would destroy the financial system. So I'm telling you, the big banks are not allowed to buy silver. They're just not, because the price, one billionaire would blow up the silver market. And I'm telling you, Daniel, you could attest to that. One billionaire comes in and will blow up. You put $1 billion order in on silver, it's gone. All the above ground is gone in a single day. And that's why the central banks are piling on gold. You're seeing gold making new all-time highs. Okay, it's moving up, and they're telling you, this is a factual statement that the central banks, the people that work for the central banks, Jamie Dimon and all those and the like, have stated, they've referenced gold being nothing but an ancient relic, a rock. Okay, but yet on the back end, the largest holders of silver globally, I believe, or at least in the United States, is JP Morgan, the largest stash of silver. The banks themselves are piling in on gold, but yet they're telling you it's a ancient relic. So what I'm trying to say here is a financial shift is coming. When this event happens, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next month with the inauguration, whether it's next December, you're better to be 2-3 years early than 1 day late, because the 1 day late is the billionaire calls up the gold dealers and says, hey, I'll take $1 billion worth of silver. That event is going to have every gold dealer calling one another, putting it, and there's the dealer that gets that phone call is going to end up calling all the dealers, buying up all the silver, and in 24 hours, all the above ground silver is gone. So whether it's a 1 day or a 2 week event, it doesn't matter. When this event goes down, mark my words, in a very short window of time, all the above ground will be sold out and you won't be able to get it. So that takes me down to the next point right here. So, we're at a point where this event hasn't happened yet. So someone reaches out to you, Daniel, and says, hey, I want to buy some gold or silver. What's your availability to deliver? How long does it take? Do you deal with 401ks? Do you deal with IRAs? How do you handle, financial questions that people call you up with regards to precious metals? And what's the length of time for this transaction to manifest?
Sure. Yeah. The name of the game for us is education. We just don't want to allow people to come into this market with their eyes closed. There's a lot of pitfalls that people should be aware of. So we take the time. We have precious metals experts here at Preserve Gold that will really take the time to understand your goals and objectives, both short-term, long-term. We just want to ultimately put you in a position where you can call the shots for yourself. So with regards to, shipping, we're shipping out in a week to 2 weeks max on all orders, depending on the product that you're purchasing. If you have a retirement account, whether it's an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, TSP, any kind of qualified retirement account, if you have decided that you feel like precious metals may be a better option than the investments that you're holding in your accounts, then we will help you transfer or roll over a portion of your retirement account into physical, not paper, but physical gold and silver, tax-free and penalty-free. We also have another program which allows you to take personal ownership or delivery of the precious metals sent directly to your home. So we will walk you through this entire process. What really differentiates Preserve Gold from our other competitors is we're not a one-stop shop. We're not here to sell you precious metals and then disappear. We'll be in touch with you every 30 to 90 days to give you updates. If something major comes in from our research team, we will call you. We will also be in touch with you proactively, not just with recommendations on buying physical metals, but we will give you insights into when we feel it makes sense to liquidate too. And whatever you buy from us, when it comes time for you to sell, we charge zero fees. We do not participate in client profits whatsoever.
Daniel is the owner of Preserve Gold Group in Los Angeles, California. How do people reach you? How do they find you?
You can call us at our toll-free number, 877-444-0923. You can go to our website, www.preservegold.com. You can also text the word BO, B-O, to 50505. Just reach out to us. One of our precious metals experts here will provide guidance and support, like I said. Whether you're trying to do this for the first time, you need to get some information, or you're looking to get into the market right away, we're not going to let you come into the markets with your eyes closed. So we pride ourselves on investor education, making sure that you come to the conclusion that either this is not the right decision for you or this is the right decision. If you decide that this is the right decision for you, we will help you with whatever it is that you need.
Fantastic. Thank you, Daniel. I'll finish on this. We live in not political times. It might feel political. If you watch my podcast, it's the farthest thing from political. These are biblical days that we're living in. These are crazy days we're living in. We're watching wars and rumors of wars and been going on with Trump for 8 years. Come on. This is wild because of the craziness going on in the world. I'm telling you, we've said it in this podcast. Your money in the bank is not backed by gold. Your money is no longer backed by oil. It's no longer the petrodollar. It's nothing but digits backed by an administration that's literally, you can coin a banana republic. So, Daniel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Bo, for having me. God bless everyone.
Hi, this is Bo Polny, and we are officially in Hypnotic November, as prophesied by Kim Clement, who stated way back in the year 2007 that in the fall, you will know who God's David is, and who also stated Trump would be president for 2 terms. Well, we are in fall. Trump was just elected on November 6th, and now we know exactly who Trump's David is from prophecy back in the year 2007, way back 17 years ago. So yes, the Trump 2007 prophecy was fulfilled. But here is the incredible part. Not only did the Trump 2024 win fulfill a 2007 prophecy, but it also fulfilled and is presently fulfilling Jeremiah 30, a prophecy that goes back incredibly nearly 2,500 years. Yes, you heard me correctly. Trump has secretly been hidden in prophecy for nearly 2,500 years. Furthermore, the prophecy that secretly references Trump as president was first prophesied actually 1,000 years before Jeremiah 30. The prophecy that starts the chain of events into the year 2024 goes back 3,500 years, and this prophecy was written during the time of Moses in the book of Numbers, specifically Numbers 24. Let me play this brief video clip I put together to explain. Please pay close attention. This truly is incredible, or better yet stated, absolutely wild that we are sitting watching a 3,500-year-old prophecy manifest. Enjoy the video.
Psychologically prepare yourself for a biblical, just an extravaganza. It's all biblically based. If what he is saying is true, it's going to get a little crazy, but we win in the end. I enjoy having him here because it terrifies me in an exciting way. But you got to get out your Bible. You got to take notes. You got to look it all up, okay?
Nearly 3,500 years ago, a prophecy written in the book of Numbers was given to the prophet Balaam. It spoke of a star, the Star of Jacob, that is to appear in the distant future. This star would herald the coming of the final kingdom, the kingdom of David. The prophecy states, "I see him, but not here and now. I perceive him, but far in the distant future. A star will arise from Jacob, a scepter will emerge from Israel, and it will crush the heads of the Moab's people and strike down all the sons of Seth." 2,000 years ago, the Star of Bethlehem marked the birth of our King, Jesus. Matthew describes the Star of Bethlehem as a sign that the Balaam prophecy is unfolding and true. Incredibly, on September 27th, 2024, the Star of Jacob that was prophesied to appear in the distant future appeared in our heavens, fulfilling the nearly 3,500-year-old prophecy. This Balaam prophecy transcends time and heralds an ancient promise made by God, our Father, to Abraham. Jeremiah 30 speaks of a time of distress for this star, the Star of Jacob. "For behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will restore the fortunes of my people, the fortunes of Zion."
I am restoring the fortunes of Zion. I am restoring the fortunes that were the inheritance of my people.
Jeremiah 30 continues, "Ask now and see, can a man bear a child? Why do I see every man with his hands on his stomach like a woman in labor? That day is so great, there is none like it. It is a time of distress for Jacob, yet you shall be saved out of it. It shall come to pass in that day that I will break the yoke, the bondage from off of your necks, and foreigners shall no longer make servants of you, and you shall serve the Lord your God, and David your king, whom I will raise up.
And in the fall will show you whom I have chosen to pray for and guide this nation. You shall rejoice, for it is my man. It is my chosen David, says the Lord.
And you shall serve the Lord your God, and David your king, whom I will raise up, for I am with you to save you, declares the Lord. I will discipline you, and I will by no means leave you unpunished because of your great guilt and many sins. Nonetheless, all who have devoured you shall be devoured, and all your foes, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Those who plundered you shall now be plundered, and all who preyed upon you I will make your prey. I will restore you to health and heal your wounds and restore the fortunes of the tents of Jacob, and out of you shall come songs of rejoicing on thanksgiving, and you shall be my people, and I will be your God. Behold the storm of the Lord. In the distant future, you will understand the Jeremiah 30 prophecy. Welcome to the distant future.
All I got to say is, wow, how incredible. How incredible that we get to watch a 3,500-year-old prophecy that then steps us into a 2,500-year-old prophecy that specifically references secretly Donald Trump and what's about to happen. When the Star of Jacob appears in our heavens, Jeremiah 30 verse 6 tells us that men will say they can bear a child. Listen to that closely. How crazy is that? But yet, this is happening now. The Star of Jacob, a 3,500-year-old prophecy, that star appeared in our heavens on September 27th, 2024. And this is crazy. Exactly 40 days later, and I mean exactly to the exact day of 40 days, Donald J. Trump, the David that was referenced in Jeremiah 30 verse 9, was elected president. Let me repeat. On September 27th, 2024, the exact day of the North Carolina floods break, the Star of Jacob appears in our heavens, and exactly 40 days later, Donald Trump, the David referenced in Jeremiah 30 verse 9, was elected president, and the kingdom of David is born here on earth with the star and marked by the Star of Jacob. Now here is the cherry on top. Listen closely. Recall the North American eclipse of April 8th, 2024, how everybody was talking about it? And I said, hey, pay attention, because it won't be until 7 months later when things really start to happen. This is 7 months later, November. And recall what happened was that eclipse traversed or went over 7 cities called Nineveh. And recall the story of Jonah. Well, if you read Jonah 3:4, it reads, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. Camilla, the Jezebel spirit that has been in the White House, this same spirit that they are trying to keep in the White House, was overthrown on exactly the 40th day when Trump won, fulfilling Jonah 3:4 that stated in 40 days, Nineveh will be overthrown. You can't make this stuff up. This is impossible. And yet we're watching it happen in our lifetime, right in front of us. But here's the kicker. You got to pay attention to the details that are happening. And when you pay attention to the details, you find the glory of God, because he wrote the end from the beginning. How great is our God? Remember Amos 3:7. It reads, surely the Lord God does nothing unless he first reveals his secrets or secret to his servants, the prophets. In other words, the Lord is telling us in Amos 3:7 that he will not move unless he first reveals his secret or secrets through his servants. Rejoice. The secret hidden and secrets hidden within Numbers 24, in Jeremiah 30, and in Jonah 3:4 have just been revealed by God through his servants. This is what is happening, and we are blessed to live in this incredible moment in time. Many or most people in the world were praying for Trump to win, right? Yet his victory was secretly hidden in a 2,500-year-old prophecy, Jeremiah 30, verse 9. Think about that for a minute, because it happened. You see, the end is written, and we, the church, under Jesus, win and have already won. We know that. So stated another way, the end was written at the beginning of time, and so too was time. Time was written at the beginning. Time, past, present, and future can be calculated using the Bible. And those who have watched my podcasts and interviews will begin to see that it is possible that we are able to calculate time. And this takes me to my book titled Revelation, the Good News. The distant past foretold the victory of Trump in our present day. And it is for this reason there is an entire chapter that I dedicated in my book titled The Trump Factor. This chapter lays out many incredible Trump calculations that all clearly pointed to Trump winning 2024. That leads us into what is called a season or window of divine favor that includes, pay attention, the great wealth transfer. So if you are celebrating the Trump victory right now, know that we have not seen anything yet. However, the calculations are clearly indicating this current victory celebration will be short-lived. In fact, we are right at a moment of time which we should be calling the calm before the storm. Yes, a storm is coming, and that storm is clearly referenced again in Jeremiah verse 23 that states, "Behold, the storm of the Lord." In my book, this is further referenced as Judgment Day. Our future is not random. The Bible tells us we have already won. So if we've already won, the future cannot be random, and the future therefore is fixed. Our God has never lost a battle and will never lose. Study what happened to Pharaoh and his entire army at the Red Sea. They were wiped off the face of the earth in a single day. The future is not a battle for a certain outcome, for we know that we have already won. Therefore, the future is a battle for one thing, and one thing only. It's a battle for souls, specifically your soul. Pay attention. This is a battle for your soul. And Satan, the great deceiver, wants it. So, how do we prepare for what is coming? Number one, read your Bible and understand the timing of things to come so that you may not be deceived. Hosea 4 verse 6 tells us, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." So again, read your Bible. And if you want to understand God's timing of events to come that were written about our future 2,000 years ago in the book of Revelation, then get my book titled Revelation, the Good News. Yes, Revelation is the good news. And when you are done reading my book, you will know exactly why. Proverbs 25:2 reads, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search it out is the glory of kings." I tell you this because we are all kings on this earth, and we should always be searching for the truth, because the truth sets us free. If you've watched my videos, you will know I continually state, we live not in political times, but biblical times. And Numbers 24 verse 17, Jeremiah 30, and Jonah 3:4 calculations that I just revealed are screaming, get ready, get ready. So fasten your seatbelts. I truly believe we are now entering a short-lived war cycle, political unrest and earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, as we are about to witness the greatest transfer of power in human history with a fall of Mystery Babylon, as prophesied in Daniel 2, verse 34, that states, while you were watching, a rock cut out not by human hand, it struck the statue on his feet of iron and clay and smashed it, meaning Babylon, to pieces. The Daniel calculations clearly indicate the great fall of Mystery Babylon occurs this year, 2024. Prophecy tells us it's in the fall season and continues into year end and next year. By year end, we should expect to see a complete and utter collapse of Babylon's financial system, specifically the federal, not federal, reserve. There are no reserves. Note means it's paper but burns in a fire. And the bonds. These instruments have been used to build Mystery Babylon, the worldwide control system. Let me repeat. Babylon is a worldwide control system of humanity. The fall of Babylon will mark the flipping of the world's financial scales, as the financial system we grew up with completely falls apart and God's money, gold and silver, rise to levels and price levels unimaginable. Those who have watched my interviews know I specifically made reference also to Bitcoin, stating that Bitcoin, this was stated in early November, that Bitcoin on the 11th would spike over $10,000 in a single day. It did. What I'm trying to show you is the future's not random. The point of the video was to show you that the future can be predicted. And on 11/11, November 11th, Bitcoin spiked $11,000. The future is not random. Please note, with regards to the worldwide events that are about to take place, fear not. Why? Because Matthew 24, verse 6 through 8 clearly tells us, you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. The end is not yet. Nations will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famine and earthquakes in various places. All these things are the beginnings of, listen closely, the beginnings of birth pains. Let me repeat. All these things are the beginnings of birth pains. Birth of what? The birth of the kingdom of David. That was prophesied in the Balaam prophecy 3,500 years ago, and the Star of Jacob just manifested in September, 40 days to the exact day President Trump is elected and brings in the kingdom of David. So we are not entering the end of days yet. We are entering a window of divine favor, a season of grace, or an age of grace, as Mystery Babylon falls. Therefore, expect to witness the greatest transfer of power in human history. If you want to know more about the timing of future events, how long the season of grace lasts, and the specific calculations that God has revealed about our future into the end of the age, all of these details and many more are covered in my book. And because November, Hypnotic November, is such a critical and important time point, my wife and I have again decided to reduce the price of our book by 50% this month as we head into this biblical time point of Thanksgiving. The Bible calls Thanksgiving reaping season. What's reaping season? For what a man soweth, the seeds you have planted, thus shall you reap. This is going to be incredible as we head into Thanksgiving and year end. So let me repeat, we are discounting our book by 50% into month end, unless our inventories run out first, which has happened before. So if you want to purchase my book for an understanding of God's perfect timing calculations from creation to the book of Revelation, including the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and the 7 seals of Revelation, the great American eclipses of 2017 and 2024, which we just experienced, and their incredible perfection and correlation with the coming important future Egyptian eclipses, the origins of evil and the fall of Babylon, how President Trump ties in to end the days, the coming aliens, yes, aliens, and how they tie in directly with the rise of Antichrist, and the timing for the mark of the beast, because that is coming. No one's stopping it. And the likely timing for the rapture, understanding God's divine timing into 2030 and beyond, including the likely timing and season for Christ's return, and much, much more. Now is the time to buy this book at a 50% discount using the code, you guessed it, VICTORY. So use the code VICTORY, all caps, no spaces, VICTORY. If you have already purchased this book and want another copy of the book for your friends or family members as a gift for the coming celebrations, Thanksgiving and Christmas seasons, now is the time. And for those with my book or when the book arrives, please see page 162 for a better understanding of the rise of the Antichrist kingdom and the mark of the beast. Please note this incredible Hypnotic November discount is a one-time per person use, is valid today and expires at midnight Eastern Standard Time, month end November. The mathematical calculations revealed within this book are beyond any human possibilities, clearly illustrating the end of days was written by the hand of God at the beginning of time. It has a lot of surprises and will open your eyes as to how great God is and his plans for us. I believe it's going to blow your mind and get you excited and prepared for the times ahead. It'll change the way you look at recent events in our world. It'll give you the power and understanding of how long we really have into the end of days and how all things are working together for good. That's why after reading this book, you will begin to see how Revelation, like the Bible, truly is the good news. If you want a copy of my book or get a second copy, there's a link below in the description box to my website, gold2020forecast.com. Please note, this discount is only, I repeat, only on our website, gold2020forecast.com. You can purchase the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and other retailers, but at full price. And if you are still uncertain about if you should get this book, please go to Amazon and read the truly incredible reviews written by my loyal subscribers. Thank you for whoever wrote those. God bless you for the beautiful reviews. This is Bo Polny. I love you. Jesus loves you more, and I know you will love this book. No one really knows what is about to manifest here into year end. Just remember, fear not, all eyes on Jesus, not the events of the world. Thank you for all the blessed reviews written on Amazon. Write one if you haven't done so yet. And lastly, thank you to all my loyal viewers. My wife and I truly appreciate you. God bless.